Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety. If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping, structures, and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got the morning Pierson-El, the host, as always, streaming in. You guys can join in 402-464-5685. We do got LSU, UCLA on the brick and mortar, some College World Series, but you guys, as always, can use the streams. Join in that way or via the Ticket app. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring them in. We got plenty of things to talk about. One thing that totally caught me off guard yesterday, but the morning Pierson-El, how's it going on a very nice Monday?
Not too bad, enjoying it.
Absolutely. A little warm, but beautiful for baseball nonetheless. And the Ticket, we're out there. Well, not any longer, but we will be back out there again tomorrow and throughout the rest of the College World Series for this week alone until we get to that break. So if you guys want to hang out, Blur Events, tailgate, great time. Meet some of the Ticket talent. I think we're handing out like free T-shirts as well. It looks like I was seeing some of the pictures, so you might get some free gear as well. And good morning. Have you been to the Blur Events tailgate yet?
I haven't been down there this year. Was busy during the day, couldn't make it down there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's for anyone who can have the time. And I know it's sometimes going to be a pain finding parking in Omaha, but it's an awesome event. College World Series, especially on Saturday, without going into it, it's really hard to find parking in Omaha with a lot of traffic going on. But it's one of those things, if you can find the time to make it, you got, a little bit extra time. Blur Events tailgate, nice tent, so you won't get cooked. Your skin won't fry. Drinks are great, nice, cool. tons of TVs. You know, you can play. They got a bunch of games there as well. So I highly recommend it for anyone. I checked it out on Sunday. Awesome atmosphere. And then when you're done there, you can literally just walk over to the Schwab and watch baseball whenever you get close to that game time. But let's start off with, we'll do the nice thing first. We'll do it since we got the Husker football background on. We did get some more Husker football commits. We got Hayden Ainsworth, not out of Ainsworth, Hayden Ainsworth out of, I don't know how to say the town name. I'm not going to try to pronounce the town name. Out of Mississippi. 3-star interior offensive lineman. Earlier in the week, we also got Rex Waterman out of Arizona, another 3-star, but as an offensive tackle. So right now, the class isn't very big for 2026, but those are the two new additions. Again, Rex Waterman, Hayden Ainsworth. You still got Dayton Rayola, Jace Reynolds. Obviously, Jace Reynolds, linebacker out of Omaha, Nebraska, the native. And you got Bonwell White as well, or Bonwell Witt, excuse me, another 3-star wide receiver. And then CJ, if I pronounce his name right, I think you pronounce it. Do you know how to pronounce CJ Brana? How do you pronounce that last name, if you're aware? The 4-star cornerback out of Florida. I hate butchering names on here. We'll call him CJ because I don't want to do that to the kid. If you guys know on text line, you can put it in for me. But CJ, 4-star out of Florida. So right now you got about 6 people. When does that class usually start filling up? Because obviously we had a ton of visits as well. Like now that we're getting towards the later of June, are we really going to start seeing that 2026 class start to pick up as far as commits?
I mean, commits wise, each year I feel like you bring in at least 10, 10 to 15. Like it's not as huge as people would think. Like you're not about to bring in a class of 20 to 25. Like, you know what I mean?
With
So
105 roster cutoff.
So I mean, you might see that drop a little bit. It might be under 10 and everything like that. So I think for as far out as things are and going into next year and everything like that, and then again, because you never know, they could pick up or go into the portal for other spots. That would those portal spots would be considered 2026, and JUCO transfer will be considered 2026. So. What I think they're doing fine. I think they're right on track. It's not as much of things need to be picked up and everything like that. I think they have probably the core amount of guys that they want. They're probably waiting for a few more to sort out and see exactly what they want. But especially with today's time, they have to commit honestly kind of early because people aren't going to be waiting around. So I would say probably by the end of July. Maybe as late as maybe even August, they'll probably pick up 3, maybe 4 more, if that, and then that'll probably be it, and then the rest will come from either transfer portal or JUCO. So I think they're right on time. Like I don't think they're above anything. I don't think they're behind anything or anything like that. Like I think they went out and got the guys that they necessarily wanted that can build and add, and then of course, like I said, I think everybody's going to use the portal and JUCO transfers as much as needed.
Yeah, and that's the point where I had to wonder if I was being crazy there too for a second. So a lot of people are like, we only got 6 people. I was like, it's June.
And you're a whole year out.
Yeah, it's still June, but it's June 16th today. And to your point, even if you're not going to load it up, especially with the roster limits, they got some really big recruits in over the weekend. And I think these are the guys they're holding out for. Certainly, the big one that seems like a must right now for the University of Nebraska, it seems like they're really pushing for him. I would too. Valdon Stone, 4-star defensive lineman, 6'3", 316 pounds, absolute unit, 94 overall rating. Virginia kid. Yeah. Hey, it's worked out well. I'm just saying. We've had some DC kids, Virginia kids line up in their way here in Nebraska, and it's worked out. So I'm not going to be against it. Not even just with the 4 stars, but you slap that on top of it. We've talked about it before. Nothing wrong with players like Riley Van Poppel, but we lost a lot. We're asking them to fill in some really big roles, and we hope we can do that. Obviously, Valdon Stone's not going to come in there and take over the role, but we just want to keep building up that depth because if Van Poppel is great, fantastic, we can continue to develop that entire defensive line. Big recruit right there. He was in over the weekend. He also got another 3-star. 247s has him as a 4-star overall. I think around 3-star. Calvin Thomas, out of Texas, a linebacker. That'd help. We've talked about how great that linebacker is, core. And if we're going to keep running that 3-3-5, I mean, how important is that linebacker role? Or am I overlooking that? It just feels like you have to have solid linebacker core if you want.
You definitely have to have a solid linebacker core. I mean, they're the next. They pretty much make the tackles. Like, I mean, look at what Bullock was doing last year. I mean, he was in and everywhere, running through grabs, sideline to sideline. I mean, even with Gifford, I mean, I know they were saying he was a safety. He was a linebacker. He was a hybrid position. He stayed, near the line again, sideline to sideline. But you got people to clog up the middle, or to make it difficult between the gaps or whatnot. And then that next group, you don't want your safeties making a whole bunch of tackles. If that's happening, you're in trouble. So you need to have, a good linebacker core on, all sides, whether that's the Sam, whether that's the Will, whether that's the Mike, whether that's the Rover or Robert, whatever, they want to call it and everything like that. You need to have, a solid two deep and rotational players, because, things happen. It's a long season. If that crumbles and everything like that, it makes, your defense, it makes it harder for you to play defense.
Yeah, I just, looking at the defense, and again, John Bullock's always the easy one to find out there because he was just a heat-sinking missile at times. But then even Isaac Gifford, obviously that's the safety role we're talking about. But you go look at the stat sheet, and he was an absolute monster in terms of tackles. Like, some of those games, you'd look at the stats, and you would be surprised to see that he was playing safety in that game. He would sometimes have linebacker numbers just based on the tackles and him coming downhill. And of course, that was teams who weren't very confident in their passing game. But 6'3", 210 pounds, linebacker Calvin Thomas. He was also out of Texas over the weekend. And then you got Jacob Eberhardt, another 3-star, 247, has him as a 4. You can argue on that. 6'3", 200-pound, listed as an athlete. It just feels like Rule just loves the all-around athlete. He's not pretty fond on recruiting a bunch of those guys. And then the last one, we got a couple more, actually, I think. Darlin Jones was also over, 3-star corner, 6'1", 170 pounds.
Linky.
Yep. Nebraska kid. Got an Omaha native right there as well. And, Nick Standard's got to see him, plenty, calling the games. And I've heard his name a lot. So just based on what I've heard over the airwaves, I'm not going to mind if we get that one as well. And then I believe a couple more here. Jamal Rule, running back, 6 foot, 205 pounds, out of North Carolina, Charlotte. And then Leon Noyle Jr., final one on the list, interior offensive line, another 3-star, 255, 6'4". So there we have it right there. So then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys. You had six of those guys. I think Valdon Stone's going to be the big one. They can land that, then you feel really good about this Husker recruiting class. That's my quick update on there. What I really want to talk about on this first segment, I want to know if you think this is true or not. Did you hear about Norris, South Carolina quarterback, and some of the money he was getting offered to transfer?
No.
It's egregious if it's true. And this is his own statement. So obviously South Carolina, I think most people were pleasantly surprised by how great of a season they had. They were really pushing, I believe it was Alabama, and they fell just short, but really big turnaround. Lenore Sellers, quarterback for South Carolina, was a big part of that. The father, in an interview, and was quoted saying schools were offering him $8 million to transfer. Do you believe $8 million?
Potentially, they already got him as one of the top-ranking uprising quarterbacks. Like, for his draft, like, if he continues to put things on or whatnot, they have him going pretty high. So again, he was a dual threat guy. He was a young guy, handled the SEC very well for being at South Carolina. I think they went 8-4,
9-4. Yeah, took him to 9 wins.
So that's not easy to do, especially on their side. And I think they have Georgia. Well, it might be a little bit different now because Texas and Oklahoma are at it, but they were on the Georgia side. They weren't on the Alabama side. So it's not surprising at all.
It's not surprising. Like, man, $8 million.
Now it could be, he said up to. So it could be, stipulations if you would have did certain things and everything like that. Like, his baseline could have been, 4 to 6, and if you hit certain things, like, it can get up to 8. Also, that might be, a filler out there and whatnot to tell South Carolina, y'all better step y'all game up. Like, we already get like you again. This is the savviness, and this is kind of the world that they've entered into when it's not the NFL. People can kind of say that with the NFL and everything like that. And I mean, we've seen Saquon Barkley, bet on himself and kind of get out of New York. They allowed him to test, free agency, and that went really, really bad. College football is a bit open, so if you can kind of make up your market and you can kind of put things out there, and if teams aren't accepting of it and whatnot, it can go a different way. It can get ugly, really, really fast, especially if you're, if you have the top rankings, or if you have the accolades, or if you're projected to be X, Y, and Z. It makes things that much harder.
Well, I will say that luckily for South Carolina, they got a guy that is very firm in what he believes in, because he's not, obviously he didn't transfer. Nobody saw that news. His own quotes: "I've been playing football all my life for free." And his goal was, quote, "to get into college on a scholarship, play ball, get our degree, and go on about our business. The NIL deals will come later." What a great quarterback to have in the room. Are you kidding me? Like,
I guarantee you a lot of people would rather have that than some of the other people, families, and everything. I guarantee you they would much rather have that than the Tennessee quarterback situation, where the father and the athlete is kind of screwing things up and whatnot. So shout out to them for understanding what the main goal is and keeping the main thing the main thing.
Well, and it's it's good to see stories like that, because South Carolina was fun to watch last year. He was obviously an electric player. And we're seeing more of these dual threat quarterbacks just become major problems, especially in the college game. If they have that arm on top of it, he looked like Luke Altmaier with a crazy cannon and even a little bit more speed on Illinois. And that's not any disrespect against Luke Altmaier. He gets called the game manager, which never makes any sense to me.
It's not a bad term.
It's a great term. I would love my quarterback to manage the game and not take unnecessary risk. That's exactly what he does. So Luke Altmaier, he's a great player, but when you watch Sellers, he's kind of got that times twice as much, a little bit faster. He's got an even better arm. And he also manages the game really well at times. But yeah, I just like that quote. And I do think if he has a great season, I hope more people can go.
He can have a Dak Prescott like college career. Like, he can be a more better, well-rounded Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott went 4th round. Yeah. And I mean, he's had a heck of a pro career, regardless of what people say. He might have not won any playoff games, but he's gotten a couple $50 million contracts, a yearly average, a couple $100 million contracts.
I mean, he's had enough offense at least, I think, twice in his career. It's like, I'm not ever going to hear Dak sucks. You might not like him, but he's like,
Dak is a good
quarterback.
I wouldn't say he's an elite quarterback. He's a very good quarterback.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad. I just, Dak Prescott. Who would have known? We agree on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, but no, my whole thing with
I didn't say the Cowboys. I just said him in his career.
I said I agree with Dak Prescott just on the Cowboys, but that's fine. I can't, and Dak Prescott just all out there. Honestly, probably one of the nicest guys. He gives, I think, I don't want to say the most, but he's one of those guys that you look at what he does for charity and organizations, like a very, really giving person. So when you hop on
what he does for an organization, he's not, he does things by the book. He's not all about me and everything like that. Things get handled. We've seen some superstars, hold things out and whatnot. And honestly, him to represent one of, the largest brands in the NFL and everything like that. I mean, after, Tony Romo, after T.O., going in there with Dez Bryant and everything like that. I mean, he's done a fantastic job to represent that organization. You can't be mad at that at all.
No. And then, that's where I land on that with him. It's he doesn't ever really, you might have a bad game where you get pissed at a play or obviously some, playoff situations. But yeah, if you actually just don't like the guy, you're making a mistake there. Really, at least as far as I know, everything I see, very respectable person. But what I hope happens, going all the way back to South Carolina, DeMaurier, it might be wrong. It feels like we've run into a situation where, not all players, but some players are getting caught in the trap of they're going into terrible situations because of the bag. And if Sellers can prove like he's there because the situation is perfect, that's where he wants to be. The situation fits his game and what he's trying to do. And guess what? He had a really good first season. And because the situation's staying the same, he's probably going to have a really good season next year, too. My biggest fear with, like, yes, it's good. Go get your money, but we got to look at, like, the situation. I mean, it's you don't have to be super smart to understand not every offense plays the same style. Not every defense plays the same style. And I feel like a lot of players end up in bad situations because
it's going to be a gamble. That's what college football is going to be coming to. It's a gamble. Whether you want to gamble on, you trusting the university to be true to you, because universities can go out and land, situations. I mean, look at what happened with Kyle McCord. They told him to leave. Like that can happen. So it can be a gamble from that standpoint. It could be a gamble from the Tennessee quarterback situation to where you feel like you deserve more and everything like that, and you kind of get. And like I said, I understand the money and everything like that, but if you are doing well in a spot, who's to say that money won't come? One, boosters and whatever these NIL situations will definitely come around. Like they're not gonna sit there, and let things go by. Now, if you be greedy and not pay attention to trying to get to the next level, understand what systems that can help you translate to the next level, because that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The goal isn't to be at the collegiate level for 6-7 years and everything like that and make a career kind of have that. Like, no, most athletes, and I know NIL is fairly, new and everything like that, is to get to play at the NFL. Like, I mean, you can go all across everywhere. You can take a poll of most athletes, in college football. Like, that is the goal. Well, if that's the goal and everything like that, you're going to have to take gambles. You're going to have to sacrifices with certain things. And it's not all the time, always about the money and everything like that. Again, education is most definitely important, and understanding, what the athletes are putting on film to help them get to the next level. Because if you go first, 4 rounds, honestly, that is, life-changing money. 5 to 7 is still good money. It's not bad. You still, can make a few million over, a 4-year span. So again, it's like, if you sacrifice for that now and be greedy for now and everything like that, I mean, who's to say that it's gonna be in the best situation for later on, to where you really could cash in.
Yeah, and that's just where it's always the what if. There's gonna be times where it does work to transfer, and you don't want to be too quick on it, and you just don't want money to be the pure driving factor.
No,
especially if one school's $1 million and the other school's like 1.2 million, and you're going for the 1.2. Like, at that point, it's a lot of money. But at that age, I mean, really at that age, if you just invest wisely, like, you're kind of set. Just getting that $1 million at the age of young 20s, like, you can really make that money work for you down the road without moving a damn finger. So you don't want to get super lost in it. But I just think this hopefully will happen in South Carolina. I was rooting for them regardless. Now knowing this, especially if this is, they're not putting little white fibs on it. I'm sure they were getting crazy numbers. Maybe 8 million is an exaggeration, but even if it's like 6.5, still really impressive that he's like, no, the situation is going to fit me best. And, it goes for the coaches too. The grass ain't always greener. Sometimes you think, if I get this guy in here, the situation is going to be so much better.
The other thing, what happens if you go to a university, and they paying you all this, and this is the part I don't think kids understand. Like, it might take them, a few years to grasp this concept. So what if you sign all this money and everything like that, and just receiver wise, you go to schools and everything like that, and they expect you to have a campaign like Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. They expect that, early on and everything like that. And what happens if you don't, and now they're looking at you crazy, like, okay, well, now we don't want to pay you that much money because the investment isn't coming back as quick. Now the pressure's on you, frustrated because you're not getting certain things. They frustrated because you're not looking right. Now, the coach is on a hot seat and everything like that because they're paying you so much money, and yet it's not translating into wins. So you got to be careful with that, because just because you may want something doesn't mean it's always going to work out like that. Your situation could change in 4 to 6 months, and you could think things, I got this, and you might not take things seriously. You might be out partying too much. You might be, your mind might not be else, completely 100, to a program, and you just out there kind of having fun and doing what you want to because you got all the money and everything like that. Well, they can cut you after 4-6 months or whatever. Go bring an older receiver in, and now you mad and upset because your playing time is cut. So it's certain things that they have to understand of what their world and what their game is now.
Yeah, and that's always the thing. As soon as your minutes lose or minutes drop, so does your NIL money drop. Like it evaporates quickly. So you want it, don't get lost in it. As soon as that becomes the focus, like all of a sudden the money starts getting smaller because you're so worried about that. Some guys are just gonna be phenomenal athletes. Like they're gonna get the money and they're gonna have days off and they're still gonna get the money because they're that good. But when we are talking about NIL, I think sometimes the old heads like me, not every player is getting $1 million. They're getting a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, but it isn't to the point where these guys are just getting ridiculous. The top guys, absolutely. Not even the other sports are getting nearly as much as what people think they're making, unless you are that top 1% or you're a quarterback of a, one of the power twos. We can add the power fives in there, but if you're a quarterback on a Big Ten or SEC school, like probably making a decent amount of money.
I mean, I think USC. USC. I keep thinking USC still in the pack. Like I'm like, there's still some schools out west that'll pay you, but they're all in different leagues now. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the ACC's probably got the same rates, and that's unfortunate. But with the
Florida State, Miami, Clemson. Now, I don't think Clemson will necessarily do that and everything just because they're Clemson. Like there are some schools in the ACC that will throw that money.
It's the average I'm thinking of, though. Is that you have to really, really. Well, if I think at the bottom of the Big Ten, though, maybe that isn't true because I don't know how much Northwestern's really thrown around either. With that being said, we will throw out the break, but yeah, I thought that was crazy story. Maybe not super crazy, but more the fact that
you would like to hear more about that. You would like to see that more often. It's a crazy story because it's like, how is this not necessarily everywhere? When anything bad or anything outrageous, it's up there for days. Like, so I get what you mean.
Yeah, but there we go. Shout out to South Carolina's quarterback Sellers. Like I loved rooting for him last year because he was just anytime you watch a dual threat quarterback who's in rhythm, it's just fun to watch. We got that with Adrian Martinez a little bit when he was playing. And then obviously we saw how good Illinois was with their dual threat. And that was a lot of South Carolina's success. So keep an eye on those guys as they do look like they're building up some momentum, but we'll throw out the break here. We'll talk about another crazy trade that went through. Grizzlies, Magic, a lot of first round picks. We'll talk about that next. Don't Punt Hour. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arns.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Life changes, and sometimes that means changing where you call home. Whether you're downsizing, growing your family, relocating, or facing tough times, you shouldn't navigate it alone. I'm Laura Bonta-Bush with Woods Rose Realty, and I'm here to guide you with all your real estate needs. As wife of football coach Bill Bush, I understand the importance of teamwork and making sure you are supported every step of the way with honesty, integrity, and compassion. If you're looking for a game plan to buy or sell your home, text the word HOME to 402-534-1919. That's HOME to 402-534-1919.
Staying healthy and comfortable starts with the air you breathe. If you're noticing more dust, odors, or allergies, it could be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Pure Air starts with cleaner air ducts, pair with enhanced filtration and purifications options, and the difference is amazing. When the air you breathe is clean and fresh, your home smells fresher and your family is healthier. Time for cleaner air in your home? Call Bryant for a free estimate. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Lincoln's new craft cocktail lounge is Bar 48 in Lincoln. Located at 2639 North 48th Street, Bar 48 offers everything from cocktails to beer to wine and so much more. With summer right around the corner, you can always enjoy Bar 48's frozen beverages. Follow them on Facebook to stay up to date on their live music performances every Saturday night. Make plans to visit Bar 48 on North 48th Street in the heart of the University Place neighborhood today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. To honor the new store opening, A1 is offering $25 off any service over $300, $50 off services over $500, and $75 off services that total over $750, all through July 31st. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Is it time to replace your home comfort system? Call Bryant and save money in every way. Bryant provides you with solutions that save. Save big immediately with attractive rebates, and save every day with lower operating costs. Most important though, the systems are selected to fit you. The right system, priced right, properly installed. That's the way Bryant works for you. How much can you save? Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing for a free estimate. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
The weekend is here and you and the boys need a place to hang out after your day on the golf course. Lucky for you, that place exists at Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill in South Lincoln. The 19th hole at the course is great, but it doesn't have 30 TVs showing all sports with 23 beers on tap. You can enjoy all of that at Liquid Assets, as well as delicious smash burgers, wings, and much more. Don't end your hangout after the golf round ends. Get to Liquid Assets Sports Bar and Grill at 2755 Jamie Lane.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in segment number 2, Don't Punt Hour. We'll talk some NBA here, some finals, as well as a big trade that went through last night. Memphis Grizzlies, Orlando Magic. I get one side of this trade. I don't fully get the other. So, in a big trade, blockbuster trade, not necessarily with stars, but certainly with picks, the Memphis Grizzlies have traded Desmond Bane, who, fine player, good player, average this season about 19 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 48% from the floor. I will say, though, in their elimination series versus the Thunder, he was bad. 9 points, 25% from the floor. Second game, 19 points, 41% floor. Good game there. Then game 3, 10 points, 21% from the floor. And their elimination game, 23 points. But again, 35% from the floor. Really, really bad shooting in that entire series versus an elite defense. So what are you giving up?
A lot. The whole house.
More than you would think. They were giving Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and one of those being a pick swap on Sunday. Desmond Bane, the Magic get. The Magic lose. KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 first-round picks, including one of them being a pick swap on Sunday. Give me your thoughts on this trade on both sides here.
I mean, the Grizzlies kicked the door in, and it wasn't no negotiation. They got whatever they want. I mean, you got a 2026 first-round pick, 28 first-round pick, 29 first-round pick, and a 30 first-round pick. My goodness. So every year outside of 27, you got 2 first-round picks if you decide to keep them.
Yeah.
So
that's a robbery.
I mean, John Morant, I wouldn't say he's in his prime right now. He's still young. You still have Edie and whatnot. Like you gave them a rebuild. You gave them pieces to be very, very dangerous. If John Morant stays healthy, look out for the Grizzlies. These next couple years, they can really make some things happen.
Zach Edey's good. He's a great pick. I think you were high on him too.
Yeah.
I made 0 sense. And I even talked to blanking on the Canadian. He played on the Canadian All-Star team on a Sunday once with DP. And I was buying into it. And I didn't think he was being biased because of the Canadian factor. I was like, a guy that tall, that big, does not. You're not demanding a ton from him in the NBA. He can fit a very specific role, and guess what? He fit that role like
perfect
here immediately. So I think he's going to be all right there. But yeah, you're right. Like
Magic, you got Bane, and he's good, but that does he help you get past Boston? Is he more like maybe now you've entered, and I don't even want to say this because Indiana is in the finals. But you might be right under them, like as far as like rank wise, because I think the Magic were 5th anyway.
So the Magic were
they 5th?
They snuck in. I think they were in that play-in, and because they had to play the number 1 overall seed in the Thunder. So the Grizzlies were playing team. I couldn't tell you exactly where they landed.
I mean, you're giving up your future pretty much. I mean, and y'all have a pretty good team, unless you're going to make some splashes out there and go spend a whole lot of money on, veterans to come and play. And that may or may not happen. I mean, I don't think the Magic are a championship or an Eastern Conference final team just yet. That they could be in the next 4 years, maybe.
You're telling me Desmond Bane doesn't get him 20 more wins or even 30? That they were 41 and 41. Desmond Bane is not going to get you 20 more wins is where I'm at. So this is where
that's what I'm saying. We saying the same thing.
Yeah, I was just being sarcastic for the sake of it because it's just.
I'm like again, like, does that get you in the top 4 spots in the East? No, I don't think so. And you gave away the kitchen sink, the driveway, the mailbox, and the deep freezer in the back for that.
You almost gave up your wife. It feels like. I mean, this is egregious. First time I read this, I thought they got rid of John Morant. I thought this was a John Morant trade. Because at least that could make some reasoning behind it. It's like, okay, you gave away your future, but you got John Morant.
Yeah.
You got Desmond Bane. And again, Desmond Bane's a good player. It's just unfortunate. Desmond Bane's going to get a lot of slack for that. It always happens to the player who is in these trades, but very high expectations in Orlando for Desmond Bane now. Very, very high. And I think the Magic will be a good team. I think this makes their roster better. But
I just don't know how much.
We're losing KCP. Cole Anthony, say what you will. I think Cole Anthony's fine. But KCP has been a very consistent player he gets picked up every year for a reason. Now, I think you understand why you let him go because it's usually pretty expensive 1-2 year deals. But at the same time, 4 first-round picks with one of them being a swap on Sunday is brutal.
It's crazy. What is the Grizzlies got the 16th pick. So what pick are the Magic picking now?
So the Grizzlies got the 16. I'd have to go look in the draft. We can do that over
break.
Yeah, because I don't want to sift through here and find it. I'll look at the NBA draft order and we can figure out where they swap. But either way, it's just I don't feel even if it's like
that's like blockbuster trade for like superstars, and that's like I'm not saying he's not a superstar, but I don't know. Maybe they see something different. He might fit this system better or whatnot. But that's a whole lot of capital for a not John Morant, for a not one of the not was it LaMelo Ball in Charlotte. Like, you're getting a whole lot of real estate for not I don't want to say a primetime player. I'm not trying to bash the guy because he is a good player, but I'm not. That's a whole lot of players for somebody that's not a superstar, a face of an organization, or the league potentially.
Yeah, and right now the Grizzlies pick isn't until they don't have a pick until the second round, 18th pick in the second round. So if that's a swap, unless it's in the system,
they got robbed.
hopefully it's in the system already. And maybe that's if it's in the system already. Okay, that makes sense. If it's not in the system, you're losing your 16th pick. But the Magic, they also have unless it could be the 25th pick, I guess, or the 15th pick, or excuse me, the 16th. They do have 2 first rounds, so maybe it was the 25th. I'm not exactly sure which one they're swapping, but I don't care either way. I don't like this at all for the Magic. That's way too much to give up. And that window it just feels like you go look at what OKC's done. You go look at what the Thunder, the Thunder have done, and then the Houston Rockets. Young team building through picks. They're having success. You go look at the Knicks, although it's a little bit different. They get some trades in there, but a very young core still holding on to some of their picks. And then the Karl-Anthony Towns trade kind of pushed them into that. Okay, we don't have as much future stock anymore, but at least we tried to build a little bit into it. They just kind of sold the script right there. So 41 wins. Give me the over/under for next season now for the Magic because they're going big on Bane here.
What was their total wins this year?
41 and 41, right at 500.
I'm going under. I'll go over. I'll take over.
I'm going to take the over too, just because John Morant, more locked in, focused there the entire year. If he's that should help them out quite a bit. But even then, I just don't feel great. I'll go 50 wins. You get into the playoffs. I don't think you're better than the Nuggets still, as long as, and then the Thunder clearly seems to be juggernauts right now. And then, Timberwolves, who knows what they do. They're probably just going to keep getting better. The West is just to me way too loaded right now. And you better start winning quick.
Because dudes are getting fired for going to the conference finals. So, I mean.
And I was talking about the West, excuse me. Talking over the East. You still got the Celtics, you still got the Cavaliers, those teams are young and they're getting better.
You got legit 4 or 5 teams. You said those two, you still Boston's still gonna be in the mix.
Yeah, Pacers right now.
Indy's still gonna be there. Milwaukee, they've made the playoffs. As up and down the things, they're still a good team. You got Indy still there and everything like that. So you have some teams that are ahead of you that you better have your A game because come playoff time is when I think the real basketball starts for the East.
Yeah. Well, that being said, East versus West tonight, 7:30 tip off. I'm sure they tipped off already. I haven't checked the score yet. Thunder Pacers. Who do you got?
Indy.
That'd make the series a 3-2. Does it become a 6-game series if Indy wins, or does it go to 7?
I think it's going to 7.
Okay. I think it's going to 7 regardless at this point. Indiana they're just frisky. I don't know how else to say it. Every time you think they're down and out of it in their last game, they lost.
And Indy is going to have to play Game 6 and Game 7 really, really well to win it. I think no home team will win on their floor from now on. You have to play good and follow it up. So I don't think Indy can get them in 6. I just don't. The OKC has lost 2 games back to back, or 2 times where they've lost 2 games in a row. Mm-hmm. They're gonna have to go into OKC and play one heck of a game to beat them in Game 7.
Miles Turner needs to have some better games too. I think he needs to be more aggressive. Especially if they want to run that style offense. There's times where he's just got to go dive at the rim. He was 3 for 10 in the last game, just kind of struggled. It's not like he wasn't being aggressive. It was just a little bit worse, but he's just going to have better games, consistency-wise and shooting-wise. Because 2 rebounds as well. You're 30 minutes of play, only 3 made shots, 2 rebounds.
That's not enough.
Yeah, 2 assists, 2.
And Game 4 wasn't bad. It's still relatively close game. Honestly, the Pacers are playing this team the best outside of what
Nuggets pushing
the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're keeping it close. They're not getting blown out. They're not, their games are them losing are under 20 or typically under 10. So it's right then and there. So they're playing them really, really good. But they're gonna have to play consistent back to back for 2 games in a row for them to get past that. If they can't play 2 games back to back consistently, same effort, everybody in, pitching in and whatnot, OKC's winning it.
Yeah, and that's where, if you want to go on paper, like OKC, if they show, you're going to need some just extra performances out of the Pacers. Thunder, they just got to show up the way they've shown up all regular season. And I do think the Pacers got a swinging shot because these series aren't going like they were versus the Grizzlies. I mean, that was a 4-game blowout. It's just about every single one erased off the court.
You mean the Minnesota, not the Grizzlies?
It was Memphis Grizzlies in that first round. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about that game. Minnesota was getting blown out too.
Got erased too. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as the Grizzlies, but Minnesota also wasn't a great look for them. But final thing on this, it's becoming a problem. I'm just going to start. I think I'm going to call it the cat trap because Miles Turner got into the cat trap. 10-3. Why are you taking this many 3? 0 for 6 on threes. Stop taking threes. These big men, when they struggle from the field, you know why you went 0 for 3 for 10? Because 6 of them were threes. Stop. Sometimes it's going to happen at the end of the shot clock. You have to take it. That is very rare. I hate the idea of just taking the threes because that's what the game says to do today. If you're not great out there and you're struggling that night, you're probably going to miss that one.
I got a question before we go to break, and we can talk about it. We can rap about it after. When did that change for like the big man not to be like more dominant in the paint? Who was the first person to kind of like, this is the new era with them? Because I don't think it's Joker. I think Joker has a big piece of it.
I think Cat made the stretch 5. He took the stretch 5 way too literal. Because Cat was like, that was his thing. And I could be wrong. There might be other players before it, but that was his thing for the longest time. And why he had so much hype was he was the center who was shooting at times 39, 40% from 3. Obviously, those numbers dropped. But he's still a good 3-point shooter. He might be the first one. Like, we've had players take
Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but Davis was like he's doing a lot more mid-range. He was still like not having his back to the basket a lot, but at least he was on the block, around the block. Cat really just like, let's stretch it out. I'm going to blame it. That's why I call it the cat trap, I guess. Maybe there's someone else, but he took it.
I'm thinking it's going to take me a while to piece it together. So let me think on it. And when we come back, I'll see.
All right, we'll do that. We'll think of who really started the way too literal stretch 5 to the point to where it makes their game worse at times. Miles Turner fell into that trap. Like I said, 0 for 6 from the 3-point line. It wasn't a great night for him. He'll have to have a bounce-back game today, I think, if they're going to want to win that series. But don't go anywhere. One more segment on the other side. Good morning, Pierson-El, Harrison Arts.
Now's the best time to lock in early order savings on a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the latest technology, including Exact Emerge high-speed planters that help you cover more acres with greater precision and productivity. Order your planter for next year now to unlock the biggest savings of the season. Contact your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Safety is always at the top of mind at Lincoln Electric System. The safety of our employees and the safety of our customers. It's National Safety Month. Visit les.com/safety for tips on all things related to electrical safety. If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping structures and fences too close to above ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. Who started the stretch 5? And we're going to try to figure that one out. And you can go a couple ways about this. You can go with the guy who just occasionally took threes and was the first big to really start doing it, or the latter, and that being the post Steph Curry.
I got two names.
All right.
That come to mind necessarily on how you look at it. Is Chris Bosh considered a 4 or a 5? Because I feel like in Toronto, he was a 4. In Miami, he was a 5. 5/4.
I'll allow it. They call it basketball positionless today. If you play the 5 sometimes, we can call him 5.
Okay. Then it's a toss-up, I think, from Chris Bosh and Blake Griffin.
Ooh, how many? Let me see how many threes Blake Griffin attempted. If it's over 3, I can give it to Blake Griffin. If it's like over 2.5, I can give it to Blake
But
Griffin.
I mean, mind you, like look at where Blake Griffin came into the league at. You would say guard, forward, and transition. Too big. Like I know him and DeAndre Jordan was 4 and 5 interchangeable, but when DeAndre was off the court, Blake was the 5. Like he wasn't bigger than everybody. He wasn't backing down. He was too big to be driving past the guards, but he was just right to be driving past the big man, which was a mismatch. So I kind of feel like
hold it up.
Blake kind of got the game started and trending that way, because if he wasn't high flying, catching a oop and everything like that, he would be out in the corner or on the wing, stretching out the 5 in the middle of the paint to knock down a 3. So I feel like it's Blake.
When he was on the Clippers, he wasn't taking any threes.
Really?
He had average 0.3 on his first season, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.4.
Who was the head coach? Because they picked up the pace for
at that point. Let me find out who the head coach was in that era.
Dan something. Antonio. Was it the old Mavericks coach? I can't think.
Doc Rivers. It was Doc Rivers.
Of Lob City?
Right, because Lob City, Doc Rivers. That's right, because Doc Rivers had the incredible Lob City, and they never ever broke through. Despite
I still think with him stretching it necessarily out there, I think because Blake wasn't a guard. Like he wasn't he wasn't on the wing really outside of shooting. Now mid-range and everything like that, fine, I get that. But he was a kind. I felt like between him and Chris Bosh, with stepping outside of necessarily the paint. And when Chris Bosh was in Toronto, he was in the paint. Period.
Mm-hmm.
When he got to Miami, like he flexed outside.
Blake Griffin did the same thing. Because after the Clippers, then he got on to Detroit, and now he's on Detroit, and all of a sudden his 3-point attempts. It's his last couple years over there at the Clippers. So in 2017-18, he went from 0.5 to 1.9 to 5.6. Now he's jacking up at least over 5 attempts. Then 5.7, 5.4, 5.47, and this is that Detroit era.
And then from there, that's when you have your ADs. That's when you have your you can put Dirk, but Dirk really wasn't like Dirk was a 3.
Well, hold on now. Jack Sikma shot 38% from 3 on 2.7 attempts in 1989.
That's a different type of no, because through the 90s, early 2000s, it was still bully ball. It was still physical. I'm not. I get that from a statistical standpoint. Fine and dandy, but whatever it went from that type of game kind of died, and then it resurrected sometime around 2008, 2009, 2010 to what it is now.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There's a couple ways because we got into the Curry era, and that's when things just.
People trying to keep up with the Warriors. So yes, I get that. I perfect.
Everyone started chucking threes though. Like back in the day, and they definitely weren't like what we think of as a stretch 5. They just were the first to actually go and do it. Now, not obviously not near to the same level. So if you want to call that the first, yeah. If you want to call what the first modern day stretch 5, I actually think Chris Bosh that one. Yeah, Wallace be a good one. I think Bosh, if you want to put him in that 4-5, you want to blend them together, and then certainly Blake Griffin at the end there. He really started hooking him up there, and it was working. The Detroit, up until really last.
Blake wasn't known as a guard. He never really guarded the guards. So that's what I'm saying. And then from there, that's when you got your jokers. That's when you got your Embiids, your Pau Gasol started, being out there shooting threes and everything like that. So,
to be fair, I don't know if Jokic was watching Blake Griffin in Serbia.
No, probably not. but I'm saying each era evolved. So
yeah,
that part started, really to come out. I think Anthony Davis was a huge problem in college basketball, to where I think he was just an absolute freak of nature, and people tried to emulate and go out and find that, and you just couldn't. And I think he's definitely done it the best, going from college to still doing that in the NBA. So things might have really, really got to moving and changing after him, but he was around. He had something necessarily to do with it, but I think it was between Blake and Chris Bosh kicking things off.
Yeah, well, Blake certainly, he lived it. He was in the middle of the transition, and you literally see it with the stats. So, he definitely was not that guy, and then became that guy as the league was changing around him. And then that was the era where the Zach Randolphs were falling off, and the Blake Griffin's careers were staying alive because they kept the game. But notice Blake Griffin wasn't taking 10 threes, or he wasn't jacking them like crazy. And when he was
because it was still kind of in that era. So again, it didn't necessarily evolve. It didn't fully evolve just yet.
Yeah, and he's setting you up too. He's just bringing you out there so he can drive by you and just absolutely yam it later in the game.
Yeah.
But no, I like that. Good segment. Appreciate it as always, Morning Pierson-El. We'll talk again tomorrow. We got the Bullers coming back for one show. Don't go anywhere. Take weeknights. We'll keep it rolling.